Okay, this video will be variations of this exercise. Okay, it sounds really basic, like you're just practicing scales, but now it's not going to sound so basic when you do it. And by the way, when you play that in the context of a song, it almost always sounds really nice, leading you to from one chord to the next. If you're just going to go from a C to an F, and it's all about the expression, whether you go into your pedals together, or whether I like to get on the B pedal first before I pick the note and do the pedal squeeze, like in the pedal squeeze exercise. That would sound like this. So if you hear that, this note, oops, that note stays the same the whole time. So right before I play that note, that C, I hit these two notes. I got my foot up off of the A pedal, but it's down on the B pedal. And then I rock into it to squeeze into that note. And that gives you that kind of crying, dissonant sound at first that resolves, which is what people like to hear from steel guitar. Otherwise, you can just go into both of them. And it's just about it's just a matter of what you want to hear at the time, okay? And it just takes timing between your feet and your hands as to when to get on them. You need to be able to do this on all the keys that you could possibly play in. Here we're in C, of course. Be able to do it in D. Be able to do it in A. Be able to do it in E flat. Be able to do it in F. You need to be able to do it in all the keys, just so you're really comfortable, which is why that chord knowledge of your neck is so important. Okay, so frankly, I'm pretty surprised I didn't screw any of those up too bad. Might have a little bit of intonation issues here and there, but it's just a lot of thinking, switching that fast. And that's what you have to just practice and get good at. Okay, so other variations of this. A really simple variation of this exercise is instead of playing 3 and 5, play 5 and 6. You know, 6 and 3 are the same notes. So whatever you do on 3 and 5 together, you can do the same thing on 5 and 6. It'll sound like this. Sounds nice, just different. Leads you into that chord. And of course, you don't have to do that if you're playing in a song. You're up here on the G. You could go back down to C the way you came. So that's like this. Wasn't quite in meter there, but you get the picture. Okay, so there's all sorts of variations. But just stick to the thing I'm showing you. Just stick to the pattern right now until you really learn that pattern really well. The other thing you could do, since you can play 3 and 5 or 5 and 6, is you can actually play all 3 of those. So you're playing 3, 5, and 6 together. Gives you kind of a fat sound, and it sounds like this. And again, that sounds very mechanical because I'm just doing it as an exercise, trying to keep it simple. But it's your expression that you put in it that makes it fun to do. Another thing you can do, you remember the toggling kind of back and forth between 3 and 5 with your fingers, and 6, bouncing back and forth to make a triplet. You can do that here really easily too. So triplets. triplet, 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 and then I just lay into that and then start it over again. Triplet, triplet, triplet. Play all over the neck that way, man, and it sounds good. And I use this kind of a little slide in, just a slur in with my pedals. You can experiment on where you pick versus slide. So I did a little slide there. Dun, 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 just kind of really give you that feel. Sometimes I pick, sometimes I slide. You just have to play around with it. All right? What else can you do with that? Don't forget you can play the notes in between still. I was just going C to C. Not really melodic there because I'm not playing along with something to know when I can do it. I'm just finding the notes in between. That's all right out of that vein. Nothing more than what I just showed you, just phrased different ways. Whoops, that was not right. Anyway, play around, have fun with that. That's a really important thing to do. I've played this for you before, coming back like, say I'm going from G down to the F and then to the C. You can do pedal bends in the middle and hit the notes in between. I'm on the pedals here, both of them. And then I hit the note in between and I come off the A pedal, which just sounds like a terrible sound in the context of that, but it's not. And then I go back on it when I get to the F. So if I was to just play those notes, it would be like this. But if you slide them, you really get that crying steel guitar sound then. Okay, so hopefully you can hear why that's so important to know that. All right, these are kind of long videos, but there's a lot of stuff in them.